Howdy, howdy. Anybody can see you. Um, yo, Philly. How's it going? We're talking about ethics of hunting today. I know you're like 12, so you probably don't have too many thoughts on hunting. But have you ever went hunting before? And if so, what were your opinions on it? If you haven't, um, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Glad you're doing good. And if you haven't gone hunting before, do you have any opinions on hunting? I never went hunting, but I have been fishing. Awesome. They're basically similar things, so I'll consider it basically the same thing. Hunting, fishing, I consider them one the same. Um, did you like fishing, or was it kind of boring, or what are your thoughts on fishing? And do you think it's okay to fish, or I mean, I personally think it's okay to fish. I've been fishing. Dad's going fishing right now, actually, with my cousin. I was invited, but I just didn't feel like going. Plus, I had a little bit of work to do. It's fun. Fuck yeah. It is pretty fun. You can just relax, sit on a boat or on a dock, and then, just chillax with your family as you make your own meal, uh, hunt your own meal. It's good stuff. The reason I ask is because did you grow your beard out a little bit, just a little bit? It's just been going a little bit in anarchy mode with it. I might shave my beard again because, frankly, people say I look better without my beard, but who really knows? I don't really know. They're like, you look more cleaned up. You look like you're less homeless. And I'm like, fair enough. I don't look that homeless, do I, guys? I look a little bit homeless, maybe. I'm playing Daisy and found Middle Eastern. Oh yeah, that's dope. I feel like there's enemies down here, guys. Shot him for 96. Spirit Oyster. Um, Not a whole lot. Playing some Apex Legends right now. Just wiped out a squad. Got 2 kills. Yeah, if anybody wants that sniper mag, it's pretty dope. Okay, let's pop this thing out. Beep beep beep. Oh shit, a rat. Okay, we're all Gucci. Yoink, grab that. Huh? I'm getting shot at. No, maybe not. Do you need energy ammo, home slice? That was like a genuine inquiry. You're going a beard, huh? At least the mustache is set. Yeah, I mean, the mustache is already there a little bit. I mean, a beard's kind of coming in a little bit. I mean, will I grow it out all the way? Probably not. People say I look better without facial hair, so who knows? I mean, I'll do something to like it looks cleaner, and I'm like, nice. Apex Predator. Apex, yeah. Apex Predator. No, I'm pretty shit at the game. Watch me proceed to win now. I said that. Just kidding. That won't happen. But it does. Pretty awesome. How's my day going? It's pretty average. Nothing too special happening. It's pretty boring. Like, really, most of my days are pretty boring, but it's just kind of it's going. Basically, just praying that something interesting happens, but unlikely. I see Sim here. No, it's a big room, yeah. Maybe someday something will spice up our lives, honestly. I mean, I guess the most interesting thing that happened today was I was hunting rabbit. Yeah, I heard about the UFO. My opinion, I'm trying to detangle some cords here. My bad. Yeah, I've seen the alien stuff a little bit. I haven't really seen it. Like, I haven't seen like what's going on in the cord. I've just heard of it. But yeah, it sounds interesting. But it seems like the most part they're just trying to nothing really too interesting. They're just trying to talk in the talk, man. Honestly, it's like it's interesting that they're bringing UFOs up in Congress and stuff and the congressional hearing. But like, what's not cool is the fact nothing really interesting being said other than the fact that they're talking about aliens. Like, frankly, I'm pretty sure they're just trying to cover up the fact that like the economy's collapsing, everything's about to go bust, and the Epstein stuff still has not been revealed, and everybody's just like, the fuck, man. So that's basically my opinion. Is it's all just a ploy to make us not pay attention to the real shit. Spot on. Yeah. Of course. I'm spot on as usual. Economy's about to go and everything. So we're just like aliens. Buy things for the alien invasions. Keep the economy flowing. Just kidding, I don't know. But literally anything just to distract us and make us be like, woo, ah, you know, instead of the fact that all the bubbles are able to burst all at once. So, Spirit Oyster, what's your thoughts on hunting? If you have thoughts on hunting or fishing or the both, particularly hunting, because I went hunting earlier today. I hunted a rabbit in the backyard. I was just like, blow dart gun time. Ew. Hunted that little fucker. But when it came down to it, thing had a big old fat parasite on, and I was like, oh shit, can't eat this guy. And one, even if I was gonna eat it, I was gonna feed it to my cat, but still, like, can't eat this guy, Marco. But like, then I was like, Pepperoni, I guess he was gonna die anyways. So when it came down to it, I was just doing him a favor. He was just gonna get launched on by parasite. It was a fat thing. Hunting, fishing, and boring. That's why we buy things from the market to minimize time spent on these activities. You're not wrong, but do you think there's any ethical gripes with hunting and fishing? I mean, do you have anything like you like? No bueno, that's not coolio, or it's just like, nah, man, that kind of boring, bro. Because otherwise, like, I feel you. Meows is just another YouTuber. Well, I already know just another YouTuber's opinion on this, so I don't need to ask. He's like, dang. But for me, rather not do it. Oh, cool. Everybody's on the hunting and fishing board. Nice. That's good. That's good. Feels good, man. Don JPEG. Thoughts on hunting and fishing in regards to doing it for testing 1, 2? Yeah, Lawrence Anton, he's and he's an antinatalist for sure. When it comes to ethylism, he doesn't really like the term ethylism because all of it's associated with. But he's what he would call whatever you all-inclusive antinatalist. So he includes animals in it. So basically, he's an ethylist, but wouldn't ask people hunting because otherwise I have no meat. Oh, okay. What's your all's opinion on sport hunting? Like hunting for reasons other than consumption of flesh? Or if you were to like hunt to just mercy kill animals, wildlife sucks. Wild's brutal area place, man. It's just brutal out there. May as well just get killed by a bullet rather than something else. But he's pretty much F-less, so why Gary acts like he isn't? Uh, because he asks. Oh, he cares about a lot of stuff. He's more like I don't know how you'd say it. He doesn't really associate himself with the like the evolution based stuff. He's more just like he thinks you can. Anton would still think that you can like life and life is worth like continuing and all that. And he's like still willing to question, basically. Like Anton's still willing to question and be like, man, like maybe we shouldn't interfere with animal stuff, and this is why I'm willing to hear it out. And Gary and me are just like, no, it's complete bullshit. Like, animal suffering is everywhere. It's brutal as fuck. It needs to be stopped. Like, we can't allow this to continue. We wouldn't allow this to continue if it was human suffering. Blah, blah, blah. So, like, I guess it's just more like he doesn't consider him an ethylist because ethilists have like very like strong convictions, and he has like more wishy washiness about like his stuff. So I guess like that's the reason Gary doesn't consider him an ethylist. I'd consider him an ethylist, but I can see why other people wouldn't. Basically, didn't know he was like that. Yeah, he's not like uber wishy washy or anything, but he's willing to like have like people on his channel that are like I mean, so was Gary, I guess. Gary just gets angry and pissed off right away. Anton's more willing to like entertain people's ideas that are like completely silly. Like he's willing to have like Christians on the channel that are like just gonna blab on about like some silly deontology stuff like that's completely inconsistent with what they believe, and they'll be like, "Yep, but that's just a sin, and I'm a sinner." Ha ha hoo hoo ha and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't know. It's just he's willing to have people on this show that are like inconsistent with their values, and he's not willing to like really call them out on it and be like, "You're a piece of shit for what you're doing, though, bro." He's just willing to be like, "Well, I think you're having a little bit of disagreements here," you know. So it's like Anton doesn't really have like the energy that Ethelists have. I guess it's like Ethelists are more like just like angry motherfuckers. They're just like, hey, you're causing mass amount of suffering, and I am pissed at you for this. Rah. And Anton's just kind of like, yeah, man, suffering's bad, bro. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I'd consider him an Ethelist. Others might not. I don't think you need to have an attitude to be an ethylist, but I can understand why people consider like ethylism to be like an ideology of like people like Gary always says like I want soldiers, I want people who are willing to be out there and trying to spread the message, trying to generally spread what the message really means, not just doing whatever makes them comfortable. In the military, you don't do what makes you comfortable. You do what is right. And so I think that's kind of what Gary has when he comes down to like why he's like Anton's an ethylist. He's just like an antinatalist, is because Anton. Ooh, I'm sorry, uh, was playing Apex and the guy just kind of popped out of nowhere in front of my face, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Oh, come. So he thinks we should interfere, or no? He needs to make up his mind. He suspects we should interfere, but he still needs to make up his mind. Like, if I just was outside of like like an hour ago, and there was a rabbit, and I was just big chilling, and there was a rabbit in front of me, and I had my blow dart gun like a couple feet away from me, and I was like, you know what, I could probably just put this thing out of its misery, uh, and so I did. Uh, would Anton be willing to go like that, and then just run to the rabbit, crush its throat, and snap its neck? Would Anton be willing to do that like I did? Probably not. But but was that because of intellectual stuff, or is it because more of his emotions? It was because of his emotions. Basically, Anton is all on board of Ethylism in terms of ideology. He understands negative utilitarianism. He thinks negative utilitarianism is right, but he just thinks physically he himself wouldn't have like he himself couldn't go and then run up to the thing as it's running around like and just run up to the thing and just grab it by the neck and just snap it, like he doesn't have that in him basically, and he thinks that testing 1 2, there we go, my mic's back. But basically, yeah, he keeps on he thinks there's something about emotions, like something about that like makes him question if it's right, or at least makes him put up like a second guess of like, oh well, if I think that I wouldn't want to do this, maybe it is something wrong with it. And me, I'm just like, no, that's just biology is programmed to do us as a social species to be repulsed by blood and pain and stuff like that, and so we don't want to cause that. Who is Gary and who is Anton? Um, Gary is Amendum, and Anton is Lawrence Anton. Here, I'll show you the channels. Subscribe to both of them. Here. Lawrence Anton. Yeah, Lawrence Anton, just called Lawrence Anton. We're just talking about him because he basically has our animals, including antinatalism. I've talked to him. I've not talked to him directly, but I've like messaged him in the comment sections and stuff, and he's responded to me. And it sounds like he is a negative utilitarian for the most part, but he has emotional disunity with negative utilitarianism. You don't enjoy hunting, do you? I find hunting boring, but when I get to the point where I like that and I get the kill, that's quite enjoyable. I get exhilarated. So when it comes down to it, do I enjoy hunting? I find the hunt fun. I find hunting boring. So once you're part where the hunt is happening, then quite enjoyable. But otherwise, no, it's quite boring. So if there was a rabbit in my backyard, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna hunt this little fucker, and I'm gonna have fun, and I'm gonna be like, at the same time, be like, hey, I also am gonna get some utility out of this because it's the right thing to do to go and put it out of its misery and quickly snap its neck, or strangle it or whatever. Would you enjoy hunting humans also? Says just another YouTuber. Ha 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 ha. Would I enjoy hunting humans? 100% I would. But is that allowed? No. But if any elites are watching and wish to pay for me to hunt some homeless people down in like their backyard of their estate while they just jerk off or something, hit me up. So, that's all I'm saying. I'll do it for free. You can kill me afterwards, my treat. So, so we have Lawrence Anton here, and then there's Amendham. And there's Amendham, also known as Gary. The Gary of Scary Gary. So, Gary always has some good stuff. All his videos are enjoyable to watch, always a little entertaining. Haven't watched the newest one, I guess.
Hey, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings Here. In Mendham, even though I'm not in Mendham. I was in Mendham. Now I'm just kind of done in. Yeah, I'm just done in. Done in will be my new name.
Done in. I guess he's done in now. That's his new name.
Done and finished. Done and incomplete. So I'm done in, but it's not done yet. Anyway, so the video
Me too, man.
Did, it has different parts to it, and
Me too, man.
Mostly a statement about life sucks and the video channel life sucks, and he just did one of these grand human things. The once in a while humans do these
Done
nice
in just means like
and,
done with life.
should be referenced and
worn out.
Yeah, if you want to, this is what being good looks like. Okay, and by comparison to all the shit in the world, this is what a good functioning robot is doing, rather than crap that most people are doing. Anyway, so we'll play some of the video and such. So this first part is basically he did a tribute to a guy who um, left us, okay, voluntarily, and just had enough. Uh, you know, well, whatever. I'm not going to qualify his judgment. I mean, he made it clear that he's entitled to his judgment, and it's his decision, and it's his life, and all of that crap, and it is, frankly, and all that can be stated is bon voyage and such. I hope it went well. And
Bon voyage.
thanks for the memories.
Basically,
There's not much else you can say.
that's pretty much
Anyway,
it. Yeah, you can just be like, au revoir, adios. Hopefully, there's not a next life. If there's a place to see you, I really hope I see you, but I hope there's not a place to see you.
The Life Sucks guy did this tribute video, and it really is.
There's God. Let's tag team, knife fight him.
It's just such a quality piece of human expression. There you go. So I had to find the words, but I think that's pretty good. It's
God,
just a quality demonstration.
We'll knife fight God.
The best of what we can engineer out of ourselves.
I have problems, guys.
Selfish, shitty little robots. This is high performance, frankly. So he made a video just to pay respect, okay, to another human life, another human story, and it was a beautiful thing. I should probably speed it up. You can watch the video on his channel. Probably. So anyway, I will post the link below and such. And so a little bit more. It is not, some beautiful machine. And the fact that it has a couple of nice colors on it, it just isn't the truth. So I was talking a little bit about, the flowers triggered me a little just because I do waste an inordinate amount of time growing flowers.
Yeah, man.
to
Not
my
wasting more
therapy,
amount of
I
time
guess you could
playing
say.
video games.
It gives me
Very
some
little therapy,
illusion
but
of cleaning up an environment because you can't really go out and clean up anything. You can't really
how'd that guy off
physically
himself?
do
Don't
anything.
know. Don't know who he's
So all
talking
you can
about.
do is the stuff where you is, you know, because
But
as soon as you go out into that world, you
whatever he
offend
did to off
somebody, you
himself is probably
trespass, you do something,
efficient.
okay, that'll get you trolled,
Video
you
insane.
know,
Video insane.
and
Yeah, I know,
I think
right?
you would go
How
into
many
it. I mean,
videos
you
out
can
there?
get
There's one,
trolled
two,
for.
three, four,
I
five,
mean, you
six.
can't even do anything.
Bruh, there's so
It's
many
almost
videos
as
in this
bad
game.
as that.
Dude,
Is
someone
if
needs to
you go to some
make a video
occasion
of
and
this
wear a nice
video.
suit and everybody else is in a lesser suit, you'll get trolled as being somehow obnoxious because you wore better clothes than they did. So it's almost like you can't do anything to make something improve yourself because then somebody's going to take that as, oh, you're obnoxiously stating that you're better than me. No, I'm just improving myself. Okay, I'm not making a statement about what a shitbag you are. I'm just making a statement about myself. It's that kind of thing. It's just there's no way you can't win with the human race, especially now. I mean, it's just culturally in a swamp of absolute bullshit. I mean, nobody is on the subject. Nobody is, is saying anything logical or coherent. It's,
Damn,
I
he was a
just
nice person.
I didn't
Video
think the
insane.
world could get this move this idiocracy that we're living in makes the movie Idiocracy seem way off because it didn't make it stupid enough. It wasn't ludicrous enough. We can actually become even more ludicrous. It just it's just sorry. It's just so fucking silly. So anyway, very nice visual effects. Really, you know, it's almost like everybody should have something. We should do everybody. So yeah, it would have been really nice if.
We're done listening to that. Anyways, um, yeah, that's who Mendham is. The guy that I have playing a lot of times on this channel through like Great Tacho's channel. He's another antinatalist ethicist who does a bunch of compilation videos, I guess, like edits of Gary and other people. Does he have an example of how nobody is on the subject? I feel like that was sarcasm because I feel like that was sarcasm. Just another YouTuber. Does Gary have a video about how no one's on the subject? Yes, Gary does have a video about that. He has many videos about that. Like 90% of his videos are about how no one's on the subject besides him. Which is pretty much true. I mean, given that like it's literally just ethicalists, so it's literally just people who are like Gary. So give links to their channels. Nah, bro. See, we just click like almost any video of Amendums, and he'll start literally. I'll be like being like, "Nah, man, no one's on the subject." Beepity boopy, and I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, he's kind of right." So he becomes a mafia man also when he live stream. That might be a bit embellished, but you never know. Give links. What's a bit of anything was on? Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of fuzzled who's talking to who. What does amend ham? Amend ham. Does it mean? Oh, I don't know what it means. That's a good question. Um, good, really good question. I have no clue. Like, not even the remotest clue. Um, if you ever see him live streaming, you should ask him what amendum means. Mendham's his city. Oh, I'm Mendham. Oh, okay. I'm Mendham. Okay, fair enough. My name is Antisocial Leftist because I'm antisocial and I'm an ethicist. Wow. Who'd have thunk? But huh. Are you winning, son? Nah. Is he talking about antinism when he says people are not in the subject? Basically, he's talking about ethylism, really, but he's talking about antinatalism a little bit. He's mainly talking about like suffering reduction ethics in general, like people focusing on experience and suffering, and that like this is all a bunch of stupid bullshit, and like life, let life, like everything we think is good and positive in life is just an illusion and just like mechanisms of evolution. So they try to get us to reproduce and live long enough to reproduce. So that's what he's talking about when he says people aren't on subject, is basically when he's like talking about the fact that people just really aren't talking about what's important, which is that like everything that we view as valuable is just a bunch of bullshit. And yeah, everything we view as valuable is pretty much just bullshit. People aren't diving into the fact that like the Bible has one good chapter, and it's Ecclesiastes, baby. Ecclesiastes is the only good chapter in the whole Bible. And it means exactly what it sounds like. It has no deeper meaning. People tell you it's deeper than that. No, it's not. It's just like life's fucking heaven. I think you can do here is clean up the messes. It's the only thing of value. Basically, yeah. He wants to try to talk about how everything is about cleaning up messes. Basically, how the value is in cleaning up messes. How this is all this bunch of fucked shit. Anything that we deem as good typically is because, if not always, because it reduces some type of harm. And so, therefore, good is essentially removing bad. And there's nothing to say otherwise. And people don't really talk about that. You just want to talk about like marshmallows make me feel happy and shit like that, you know. But they don't want to talk about the fact that the marshmallow makes them feel happy because it removes hunger and satisfies sweet spot and all that shit bullshit. I don't know why anybody would assume there's a god. There's no hint of it. Hey man, you would be surprised. I watched a video from one of my subscribers sent to me yesterday that was talking about like souls and shit and saying that like we all have to have like souls and therefore there must be like a god, man. And just like so like I just can't think of like where the mind would be coming from. Like I know billions of years of evolution occurred and that literally is probably what created the mind, but like I just can't like feel that, man. But like I feel like I exist outside myself and that like I'll never die, man. So like I mean there has to be like a soul, bro. I just feel it. And so therefore there's a God, because if there's a soul, there's a creator of the soul. So, you know, like people fucking, no matter how intellectual they are, people will find ways to bamboozle themselves into believing in like gods and bullshit just to like try to comfort themselves. So I'm not too shocked, but it, people will do it. People will fucking do it. I mean, yeah, it is just feelings, but it's feelings that are so strong to them that it's reality. It's kind of like how I say experience generates value of pain. It's like that, only their experience is that, like, I experience myself as a being that has a soul. So, therefore, I guess I have a soul, I guess. It's like that, but, like, Except I think my thing is a little more universal because it's like a universal thing that's been like experienced by all like sentient beings ever, like this pain, not having a soul, which is like experienced by like religious people and schizophrenics. What's the difference? What's the difference? But when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a soul because I don't feel special. I don't feel like there's any difference between me and another animal. I don't feel like there's anything that's going to be lasting. Eminem used to volunteer fishing with the youth. He said he lived in Minham when he lived in Minham. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Good for him. I am glad that Eminem is on my side when it comes to fishing then. Bing, bang, boom. Fishing's pretty fun. Not, I mean, it's not that fun. It's boring, but it's like once you get a fish on the line, it's fun for like all of a couple seconds. Then you're like, yay. Get lost, man. Right there. But yeah. But yeah, I'm 100% for fishing and 100% for hunting. I'd be curious if anybody who is otherwise and is opposed to hunting and fishing would like explain themselves, other than just being like it makes me feel bad or like oh it's taking a life, because washing your hands is taking a life too, but we're not opposed to hygiene. So I'm just curious, guys, if there are any people out here who are like deeply opposed. Damn, they lit me the fuck up. I'm just right here, my dude, Dave. I just have my camera off because I can't see if my microphone's working on this stupid headset. Turns itself off like randomly. I don't know why, but it does. What about torturing a person? I mean, animal's gonna die anyways. Might as well make it quick. Are you okay with taking someone else's life when defending yourself? I mean, I'm okay with people defending themselves because it. I mean, assuming. I mean, here's the thing. It really depends what you mean by. And like the average society, I'm okay people defending themselves. But if it's like a pedophile and he's just like and like an armed militia of like pedophile hunters are out to like kill the pedophile and he defends himself, I'm gonna be like, no, fuck you. You should just let yourself die, you piece of shit bastard. But so like if it's different. It really depends. Like if someone's like a normal, everyday, upstanding citizen and the way they want to defend themselves, I'm gonna be like, yeah, the person who's assaulting you is a bad person. They are trying to take your goods or your life for no reason. So therefore, defend yourself. But if the person, so there's always nuance. There's always nuance. Basically, my point is, um, it's all about utility. Everything's about utility. I'm not a deontologist. I don't have a primary thing like, yeah, self defense is good. So you should do a collab with Tristan now. I would gladly do a collab with Tristan, but only because I would destroy him. But, when it comes down to it, yeah, everything is about consequences of the action. I'm never going to say I'm 100% cool with something or 100% against something unless that thing is pain in itself or pleasure in itself. But, yeah, I'll destroy Dave. Dave, I will destroy Tristan. That's what I meant to say. Dave, I will destroy Tristan. I will rim him. Just kidding. But Tristan, let me look him up again. Tristan Marion. Hmm. There we go. I'm commented on his newest YouTube video they released, and it's like, yeah, hoping he will do response on your video with him. Fair enough. I mean, if he does, it'll be awesome. Don't know how he's gonna see it unless someone tags him in it, but because I don't really ever tag anybody or put anybody in the description of my videos, I just kind of do it. 9% of ethical vegans, like every other vegan. I'm not ethical vegan. Fishing is speciesist, so does it not promote speciesism? I mean, I don't really care about speciesism, my dude. I mean, I mean, that's, I mean, that's like saying like if we found like a mollusk that has like zero sensation, I'd be like being like that's species against mollusks. If you eat mollusks and only mollusks are just they're animals also, guys. I'd be like, yeah, but they're animals that don't feel pain, or if they do feel pain, it's like better for them to be gone anyways. So I mean, like, is fishing speciesist? I don't know. Is it speciesist in the sense that like we're relieving them from suffering prematurely while gaining food source from them and not other animals? I don't know, man. I mean, maybe. 95% vegan because I use pharmaceuticals. Oh yeah, like the capsules are gelatin or whatever. Yeah, I mean, same. I'm like 80% vegan. I don't know. Like I eat fish. Uh-oh, Tristan commented you called his philosophy yes garbage. Uh wait, no, wait, Tristan already responded to my content? No, in his no, in his comments. Yeah. Uh I mean hey man, I do what I do. What's Tristan's channel? Tristan's channel is this right here. I'll fucking this dude right here, Tristan Malone.
The more I've thought about it, I realize
His video, My Philosophy, I watched yesterday, and I was just like,
truth or
going at
fiction.
him. And I mean, I don't know. I might have said some mean things. Did I comment? Sort by newest. I don't think I commented on his thing. Oh no, no! In his comments, what's just? I'll tell him. Well, you can tell him whatever you want, man. But when it comes down to it, Dave, I was stoned and I was drunk. But when it comes down to it, that's no excuse for me being rude. And I was being rude because his philosophy's bullshit. We're not just a bunch of energy bouncing into each other. We're energy bouncing into each other in ways that made brains, and brains cause hurdy, and hurdy be like, ah, and is bad. So, moral of the story is there is such thing as bad in the universe, and if he thinks otherwise, I'd like to see him shove a nail through his hand and give it a little twist. And if he does that for me, then I will admit that pain is not bad, and I'll shove a nail into my own hand and give it a little twist, and then we can touch nails like Jesus. Yeah, it'd be romantic. This is my date idea for me and Tristan. So, Menmo says nail in eye. I say nail in hand because I like my eyes very much. People say my eyes are pretty, so I'm not gonna shove a nail in my eye anytime soon. But if he wants to shove a nail in his hand, I'll shove a nail into my hand, and then we can call it a day. And then if he says pain is not bad after that, then I'll be like, okay, cool. But he has to say it while the nail's in his hand, and he has to like give it a little twirl. He has to like with the nail. He has to give it a little swirl. If he does that, man tells me pain is not valuable, and we're all just star energy bouncing off each other. Then I'll take him. Then I'll take him seriously. But until that day happens, I won't take him seriously. I'll be like, okay. I believe neurological determinism disproves pain because it's just energy reacting and jerking. Hmm. So, wait. See, do you not? What are you then? You not an ethicist, or you not a? So what? Okay, I'm curious. You pop on this channel every once in a while. I see this little avatar appear here. Are you not an ethicist, or are you not a antinatalist? Because it sounds like that's a very nihil. I found great solace in my suicide attempt. I wish I was dead. I mean, I did too. I mean, I'm a pro-mortalist also. I have attempted suicide twice, and the only reason I stopped was because I don't want to cause brain damage. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, doesn't really, to me, mean pain's not bad. Death isn't bad. Death is good. Death is good because that pain's bad. I mean, I don't know why you'd be a pro-mortalist. If anything, you should be an Epicurean. A non-practicing pro-mortalist. Okay, well, I mean, do you know what Epicureanism is? Because I'm curious in why you would be a pro-mortalist if you don't think pain's a bad thing. Like, either pain's a bad thing or it's not a bad thing. And if it's not a bad thing, I don't know why you would be a pro-mortalist. Because if there's no bad in the universe, then I don't know why death would be good. I could see death being a neutral, which would be what Epicureanism says. But, I'm not a pleasurist, no. I don't think pleasure exists, and if pleasure does exist, it's complete bullshit and doesn't have any value in terms of ethics. Ethics is about other people and taking in consideration their pain, basically. Well, my definition of ethics is, I forget what my definition of ethics was. It was like fucking something silly. It was like fucking what we ought to do in regards to others on the net whole or something like that is what ethics is. What we ought to do in regards to others, that's basically what ethics is. And Epicurean, I'm compatible with Benatarian nihilism. You mind coming on to the stream and explaining what Benatarian nihilism is, my dude? Because when it comes down to it, Benatarian nihilism sounds like you're basically saying there's an asymmetry in life between pain and pleasure on a subjective scale of what you're experiencing but those experiences are really just phenomenon of atoms jerking off each other and bullshit. Howdy, Tyler. I'm gonna remove that. Howdy.
Howdy. Yeah, I mean, I read The Human Predicament in like 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm getting a delay.
Oh, are you getting a delay?
Yeah. A big. I'm getting a delay on my part. My voice is delaying.
Oh, at my end, it sounds perfectly fine.
Yeah, so I read the Human Predicament. Yeah, I can't do this, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's completely all right.
This happens to me and Do Not Watch's stream. I think I need a new phone or something. Let me try to hop in one more time.
Yeah, go for it. Here. Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm compatible with Benatarian nihilism. Yeah, if I had to guess, Benatarian nihilism is like nihilism is believing nothing matters, where everything is like arbitrary and just kind of. Benatarianism is the asymmetry arguments. So I'm guessing he's basically saying that there's like a subjective but not objective version of asymmetry of pain and pleasure. But objectively speaking, these are just atoms bouncing around. They don't matter. That's basically what I'm guessing he's going to say. But I'm not entirely sure. Let's hear him out.
Yeah,
Howdy.
I think asymmetry matters, but I don't think. I think just stating that asymmetry. Yeah, I got way too much of a delay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brent.
No, it's completely all right.
All right, I'm gonna see you in the chat.
Yeah, I'll see you in the chat. Ciao. But yeah, am I correct in assuming that what Benatarian nihilism is essentially just taking the asymmetry and saying that it has value, the asymmetry is in the subjective scale. Like, subjectively speaking, you experience and always will experience more pain than you will pleasure, and that the pleasure is not really asked for and wouldn't be deprived of by not experiencing these things, even though objectively speaking we're just atoms going bing, 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 bouncing off of each other and stuff. So, is that what you're trying to get at, or? Because I'm a little confuzzled with what vegetarian nihilism is. But if that is the case, then why does pain not matter, but why does the asymmetry have value? You know what I mean? I'm not entirely sure. Because I agree with the scenario you're setting up. We're just like energy and shit just bouncing off each other and like the universe experiencing itself and stuff. But what I don't agree is that like that doesn't have like a real value going on there in the experience. Like I think everything is determined, like as you said, like the pain is determined. Like I don't think it's like even the pain's like a unique sensation, and it's just like, oh, our limbs doing all that stuff's being puppeted, but our sensations are like free and like valued because they're free. No, I think as you said, like our psychology just determined pain doesn't matter in objective asymmetry. So pain doesn't matter in objective asymmetry, but from the cosmic perspective, that suffering is completely wasted. I mean, yeah, I mean we're in agreement, but I don't think the cosmos has a perspective of value. So I don't think from the cosmic perspective is like a weird saying to me. I mean, like I understand, I agree with what you're trying to say, but I think the disagreement we have is basically you say there's like a cosmic perspective, as in like the grandiosity of the universe makes like everything meaningless. I'm more with like the absurdist and saying like, well, the universe could be really big, it could be twice as big, it could be the size of my living room right here, and it doesn't really make a difference to me because all that matters is what minds are experiencing, and the value is where the minds are. So given the universe doesn't have a mind, to me it doesn't really matter what the universe, if from a grander zoomed out scale, like where our value seems minuscule. Like to me, that just doesn't really matter. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's just our perspective disagreements, but it's just, like to me, that's kind of how I look at it. Like the universe doesn't have a mind, so the universe doesn't get a say in the matter. The universe can fuck off. So where's the hint of God? Why are you agnostic? Why am I agnostic? That is because I was raised Lutheran, and there's always that little fear of like, what if I'm wrong? What if there is a hell? Um, and it does have billions of years of programming behind the reason we feel as though that we've constructed these elaborate lies. Nothing else. There's no hint. As you said, there's no hint. Not a hint of God, not a hint of paradise, not a hint of the supernatural. Just another YouTuber is D-Prophet. He's the guy that goes on the Do Not Watch channel every once in a while. You know. But yeah, so basically, there is no hint of anything supernatural, religious, God, spirituality, blah, 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 in the whole entire universe, like, out there whatsoever. But billions of years of programming went to our brains being able to construct leprechauns, the Feywild, D&D, Warhammer 4, like all these universes, all these fantasy realms. I can think of a half dragon, half leprechaun, half kangaroo so it has like a pouch, and it has the body of like a dragon, but it has like a little beard, and like little has a beard and like red hair and like a little top hat. Like I just constructed an Irish dragon that has a pouch like a kangaroo, and no one's ever thought of that before until that moment right now. Does that mean that these things exist in the universe? No, that's fucking preposterous and that's silly, and anybody that says otherwise is a fucking goober. So, but when it comes down to it, our brains are able to construct all these wild ass things, and so like we construct the idea of like there has to be something bigger than us. There has to be something bigger than me. What's the greatest, most biggest, most perfect thing? God. Woo! So many big words. I have no idea what they mean. I prefer Epicureanism. What the fuck? I don't know what Catorianism is. Either Spirit Oyster, Porphyrism. Might know what that is, but I don't think I know what that is. Epicureanism is basically just the idea that death is not a bad thing. It's just basically just saying that like death is neutral. It's a cessation of existence. Basically, this dude named Epicurus made up that term a long time ago, and all his students were like, "Dude, this guy's based as fuck." But they had to like prevent him from like just like getting himself killed like randomly half the time because like he just didn't give a damn if he died or not. So he was a real cool dude. Ancient philosophers were really fucking wild. So, but yeah, all the ancient philosophers are fucking wild. There was one that like believed that nothing existed and everything was just an illusion, so he'd like walk into like traffic and stuff. So yeah, it was like fucking so many cool flaws. We shouldn't fear death. Bentar believes we should. That's the difference. Well, yeah, Benatar is just trying to. Here's the thing: Benatar is a secret pro-mortalist. Don't tell him. But Benatar is a secret pro-mortalist. He doesn't actually think we should fear death, and doesn't actually think death's a bad thing. He just instinctually feels that death's a bad thing and doesn't want people to do homicidal acts. So because of that, he doesn't want people to be doing homicidal acts in his name, and so because of that, he claims death is a bad thing. But in reality, Benatar, I don't think actually thinks death is a bad thing. He's very, very sympathetic with promortalism and Epicureanism. But that's just because he doesn't, as I said, he doesn't want people to be doing homicide in his name. So, it's just kind of like understandable. I don't want that either. So when it comes down to it, yeah, it's just kind of like, is it granted that things exist? That what I mean is what the fuck? There's no God, but there's question what is existence. Is Benatar Arabic? No, Benatar is South African. There's no God, but there's question what's this existence, and if that's a question at all. It's granted that things exist. That's what I mean is the question. I'm confused. Just another YouTuber. My brain just went. And then just like kind of like shut down for a moment. Try rephrasing those two things just into one paragraph, and then I'm gonna reread it again, and maybe my brain will be able to process it. But my brain right now is having a mini stroke, so I can't, like cannot, like cannot, bro. Yeah, my brain just glitched, bro. I can't do it. That or hit. I'm talking about existence as a whole. Ah, fuck. What do you mean by existence as a whole? There's no God, but there's a question. But there's a question. What's this existence? And if it's a question at all, Well, this existence, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna start from the top and I'm gonna break it down because you didn't have punctuation in here. So there's no God, but there's a question. What's this existence? And if it's a question at all. I feel like that's how you're supposed to like phrase that one. And then to answer that, I'd say there's no God, but the question now is, God is in the details, says Ted. We got a religious person here. Bam, bam, woo! We are on
details, says Ted.
Yo, what is up? How's it going, Tyler?
Bam, bam, woo!
I'm trying my laptop out now.
Details, says Ted.
Yo, what is up? How's it going? You might want to just close the YouTube.
I'm trying my laptop out now. Oh, fuck, it's not working. It's not fucking working.
Never mind, it's not working on his end. Okay, any great YouTubers should I be aware of? I like anti-nihilism. I like Amendum. The other speak big words. I have no idea what they say. Yeah. There's a bunch of them, my dude. Like, here's the thing. I have a channel, and you can just go and click on Brant Gill if you want, and look at who I subscribe to. Basically, everybody I'm subscribed to is pretty much worth subscribing to, for some reason or another. But let's go and take a gander down my subscription list. You must be saved. Hallelujah. Ted Crux wants to save my soul. Here you go, Ted. I admire you. I once tried to save a soul once too. And you know what? That led to me becoming an atheist. So I wish you the best of luck. Good luck. Try to save my soul, but you're welcome to see this little link right here. I'm going to post it. You're welcome to click this and come on in here, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm trying to talk about the ethics of hunting, and we're also recommend just whatever in general. So we're doing like my subscriptions, and we're talking about antinatalism and ephilism. But if you wanted to come and join here, you can talk about whatever you want. Like talking about God, we talk about religion, you can talk about pretty much whatever. But anyways, let's get into my subscriptions. Oh, wait. Subscriptions. Breaking Point is a news channel. Actually, I don't like iDoser anymore. I mean, I don't even know I'm subscribed to this. Some dude was trying to convince me that you can get high off of music, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. And more of the story is you cannot get high off of music, at least not as far as I'm aware. Let's see, we got this guy right here, he does the news. Not worth subscribing to him though. For ephilism, subscribe to this guy. Pessimistic Ruminations. Subscribe to Pessimistic Ruminations. He has some good content. Yeah. Subscribe to Born into a Corrupt System. This guy has some good content. Mint stuff. He's a nihilist, though. So when it comes down to it, I don't agree with a lot of what he says. The last two people are nihilists. So Born to a Corrupt System and Pessimistic Ruminations are both nihilists. I agree with about 50% of what they say. The other 50% is more along the lines of get lost to vampires this guy would agree with them a lot more, basically. I'm not a nihilist. I think things matter, not in a good sense, but like in a bad sense. I think the bad does exist and quite matters a lot, like a lot. So, so I'm not really a nihilist, but when it comes down to it, they are nihilists, but they have really good channels. Wendigoon, he's not into philosophy. Well, he's into philosophy, but he's not a philosopher. But he has a good channel. Subscribe to it if you want. Cardinal Consideration is an antinatalist. He's really good. Good fellow. Here we can watch one of the. He watches video he released today. Some reproductive advice from my
Welcome back.
homie.
Previous video, the one before, I talked about how if you're going to end up creating a person with a person, if you're going to end up having children with someone eventually, even if you just feel like that might be in the cards for you, like it's just a possibility. It's like a distant, abstract possibility in the future. It's not like a thing that you feel quite strong about, but it's a possibility. Even if you think that, if you believe that you fall into that category of person, and many people do, like a shit ton of people when they're young, they feel like they're never going to do it, and then they're going to eventually do it. And I just want to talk about some more than previous. Just if you're going to maybe end up doing that, who you end up doing that with matters tremendously. It matters so much. It really, if anything.
Basically, he's an antinatalist and an ethicist, but his main focus is trying to convince people to be smart about when they have kids and who they have kids with. He doesn't think we're going to be able to convince people to not have kids ever. It's just a lot to ask someone who's been programmed for billions of fucking years to go against all their natural instincts. So he basically is like, yo, that's unreasonable, but you can at least try to convince people to have safe sex, use condoms and stuff like that when they're with a partner that they might not want to be with long term or something with, things of that nature. Get vasectomies if you don't want to have kids. Basically just convince people to make more rational choices. So, he's a good channel. Would recommend subscribing to my boy, Our Cardinal Consideration, because that's what he's all about. He's about considerations, getting people to consider shit. Bing, bang, boom. Metaphysical Exile. This channel right here is fucking amazing. I love this channel. Really good. Worth subscribing to 100%. This guy asks what's your favorite whatever, and then Spirit Oyster responds Ichi for the win. So that's the answer to, I guess, question mark. Kane B, he's a anti-realist. Not a nihilist, he's an anti-realist. So anti-realists are interesting. They're almost more infuriating than nihilists because I don't really have arguments against anti-realists. Anti-realists are probably the strongest arguments that I've seen in philosophy besides just experience is value itself. Like, you cannot deny the fact that a nail in the eye is quite horrible and that everything else given the value equal to yourself is probably horrible to put a nail in other things' eyes as well. So, given the fact that experience generates value is just as strong an argument to me as an anti-realist argument, I'm pretty much going to go with the one that makes it so that I don't have to be a homicidal maniac. So, when it comes down to it, though, anti-realists have really strong fucking arguments. So subscribe to Kane B if you want to hear some really interesting arguments involving philosophy. Secular Talk's the best news. A Drop of Melancholy is a really good antinatalist channel. Vern Matz has some really good songs. Cosmic Skeptic, also known as Alex O'Connor, has some really good philosophy. Majesty of Reason has some good philosophy. ML Tingel K-Dog, also known as K-Dog, he's a nihilist of sorts, but he is an antinatalist, so he's worth subscribing to. This guy has a lot of debates that he hosts. It's worth subscribing to. Dark Endless Pit 247 is an Nephalist. He's worth subscribing to. Animosity is a fucking weirdo. Don't subscribe to him. But if you want to subscribe to him, go for it. I mean, fucking go for it. I mean, he's a little fucking weirdo, man. Do you maintain celibacy? Celibacy is not having sex before marriage, says, if I remember right. No, I'm actively looking for sex with strangers, my dude, and or with people who I'm acquainted with that are attractive. So when it comes down to it, do I maintain celibacy? No, I do not maintain celibacy. Celibacy is silly. I mean, especially given the fact that I have a vasectomy and have condoms. So why would I maintain celibacy? It's not like God's watching over, being like, "Oh no, he stuck his penis in somebody," and if he is, then what a creeper. He needs to get something better to do. So there's literally kids being raped, tortured, brutalized to be free from sin. Fuck you, Ted. God literally created a world where people are being raped and murdered right now, and you're concerned about me being free from sin. God should be a little bit more concerned about what he creates, okay? He should be a little bit more concerned about me being rated in a world where I can fuck people before marriage, you know? Maybe he shouldn't have made the concept of marriage so that I wouldn't have to be a sinner for fucking people before marriage. How about that, Ted? How about that? You ever think of that? Maybe God shouldn't be such a prick, creating all these things unnecessarily. Why is he creating all these things? If he's so perfect, Ted, why is he such a needy little bastard? Okay, he's always needing things, Ted. He's always snapping shit into existence. He's so needy. What would happen if he didn't snap these things into existence, Ted? Would his needs be upset? Would God be upset? Could God be upset? Could God be hurt? Can we harm God? Is God imperfect, Ted? Or wait, or is Ted? I think God is perfect, meaning God's dead. This whole universe is a product of God's disintegrating corpse. The whole reason this universe exists, Ted, is because God is perfect. Therefore, God had nothing to do besides kill itself. Congratulations, I have just informed you of the sad, sad truth of the universe. God is perfect. God cannot desire anything besides its own destruction. The only thing God can do is destroy itself. It cannot create anything because to create something would require desire, and desire is a product of things that can have their desires upset. So therefore, God does not have desires. God can only destroy. God can only destroy itself. You see where I'm going with this? The whole universe, all things, is just God's decaying corpse, my dude. God is Spirit Oyster's bitch. He's my bitch. We're all the bitch of God, and God's the bitch of us because God's just a decaying thing. At this point, the whole universe is our bitch, and we are the bitch of the universe. Oh, so he has a vasectomy. Like sounds like excuses. Sounds not like excuses, Ted. Sounds like when it comes down to it, the everything you believe is silly billy. You just can't get laid, and so you basically think that there's some old creepy dude who's power hungry, and so you worship his power. You fear him like a little pussy, a little bitch. Yeah, I just spit on the ground because I'm not a little bitch like you. Yeah. So I'm all spin doors. I don't give a damn. So yeah, when it comes down to it, yeah, there's a thing called you're a little bitch and you can't get laid, and because of that, essentially you just are copying with and thinking that there's some angry old dude like your grandpa just watching over you, being like, "Oh, Ted, if you put your peen inside that lovely lass, I will send you to be burning with fiery cold for all of eternity. It'll be so cold it'll feel hot. Yes, you'll be frozen in a lake of fire. You ever thought you could be frozen in fire? Well, you can be. That's what hell's like. And you're like, oh no, please don't freeze me in the lake of fire. I won't fuck. Yeah. Yeah, and that's you. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go get laid and I'm gonna be like, yo, J Man, come in my ass with your Holy Spirit, baby girl. And then I'm gonna go to heaven just like you, and I'll slap you on the ass in the way in the pearly gates, and we'll both be having a bukkake up there. And when it comes down to it, you can live your life of purity. I'll live my life being a tainted sinner, and we'll end up in the same place. So it don't matter. It don't matter. If your God's truly an all-loving bastard like he claims to be, then guess what? He'll forgive me of all my sins, and I'll be there up in heaven with you. So when it comes down to it, I win. I guess there's no reason for me not to. I mean, if God truly is an all-loving bastard, he's not gonna care. Well, he might care, but he's gonna put his feelings to side and spare me. Only if you repent. Oh, okay. So what the fuck does that mean? Okay, so that's not very loving. So I have to grovel at the Lord's feet and be like, I feel bad that I disobeyed the rules you set up arbitrarily in the universe. And I have to feel bad and be like, oh, you're gonna burn me for all ever. I know you only gave me fucking 80 years of a material lifetime to sort things out, but you're gonna burn me for a bazillion quillion years times 1,000 trillion. Please take everything I say with not a grain of salt. Take it with all sincerity. I really feel bad for not believing in you for no reason because you gave me zero fucking proof. You made my best friend kill themselves after being raped. And please, Lord, just forgive. Yeah, you generally think that only repent. How can I repent genuinely? How can I repent genuinely, given the knowledge that I hold? It's impossible. And even if I could repent, why on this bloody fucking planet would an all-loving being, a being that loves more than me? Okay, here's the thing. I know people that have fucking ruined my life. I don't hate them, okay? I don't hate them. I think that I'm friends of some of them to some extent or another. I'm literally acquaintances of some people that I hated with all my guts years ago, and I'm still okay with them. No one can smite me. No one can do something to me to make me hate their guts to the point where I would torture some fucker for all of eternity. And yet, you're telling me that there's someone out there, an all-loving being even, that needs me to beg and grovel at their feet, being like, please forgive me so I don't burn in hell for all eternity? Just so that's not an that's not an all-loving God, and that's not something that's worthy of me begging for, and that's not something me worthy of apologizing for. This fucking pathetic loathing. I loathe that entity. I loathe that entity that would send anybody to hell for all eternity just for some arbitrary fucking rules that they made up for no reason. For no fucking reason. They made the nervous systems of us the way that they are. They didn't have to make it so we feel pain the way they feel pain. We didn't have to make the sins the way the sins are. They made these things all arbitrary. All these little things. They made your brain desire to do these things arbitrarily for no particular reason. And guess what? Here we are. And there's like all these are sins, and you have to feel bad for it. You have to feel bad for what you have programmed into you by billions of years of evolution that God made occur. No. He can go fuck himself. He can go fuck himself. My best friend committed suicide because they were raped. I am not going to ask God for forgiveness for my sins. God can go fuck himself. How many sex partners have you had, Brant? I have had two. I've only had two. One was someone we know. I'm not gonna call out in the channels. But basically an ex of mine, and another was just some random girl that I hooked up with off of Bumble, and I was just like, okay, cool. So I've only had two sex partners, but I'm gonna probably have like a third probably pretty soon. So hey man, I don't really get around, but when it comes down to it, like I'm 23 years old and I've only had 3 sex partners. So Ted Cruz should be ashamed of living in fairy tales, yeah, basically. So yeah, it's just like I don't really get around, but when it comes down to it, for his Christian ass, apparently I do. It's just you're a sinner. Of all the rules, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Look at the Bible. That's amazing. I'm up to 15 and shouldn't fucking sword my guts out. I'm 31. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't really think it matters how many partners you have. You can have 1, 2, 0 trillion. I mean, it's not even a trillion people on the planet, so you can't. But basically, my point is like it's kind of arbitrary how many sex partners you have. I mean, it's nothing to really brag about, nor is it anything to be ashamed of. Being like, oh, I have a lot or I have none. So, sure, make sure she's hot or you'll regret it. You're a good-looking guy. Oh, I've already fucked a chick. Okay, here's the thing. My first girlfriend, who was the first one that banged, a solid. Some people say 9, some people say 8, some people say 7, some people say 6, but otherwise she's like a solid. She's really attractive, basically. The girl that I banged recently was like a 2 or like a 3. Like she's not that attractive. She's like a 3, I'd say. She's like a 3. She wasn't that attractive. Like really, she's not. She wasn't. So do I regret that though? Yeah, I regret it, but like, do I regret it comparatively speaking? Nah, not really. There's like far more things I regret more in life than that. I have more things. I have other things that I should be regretting more. So it's still like I'm not gonna be like not dwelling on it like, oh my god, I shouldn't have drove an hour and a half to fuck that fat bitch. It wasn't worth it. I'm gonna be like subconsciously like, yeah, it wasn't worth it. And whenever the topic comes up, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it wasn't worth it. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be like actively like, no, like 20 years later. No. Round, round, get around, I get around, get around, ooh, I get around, I get around. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I have a vasectomy and I used a condom and I didn't even finish. So bum 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 bum. I have no problems. Get lost, vampire. I have big Chad energy. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna have no way to sing the song of the Beach Boys. But yeah, what did you write about existence? Just another YouTuber. I didn't see it. It's meaningless and silly billy and just perpetuated because of a molecule. Yes, correct. Welcome to the club. You said it's like worth perpetuating because coom feel good. Then I'm gonna be like, get out of here. Round, round, get around, get around. Think our genetic origins come from acid rain 4 billion years ago. Well, that's a little bit of a weird theory, but okay. Evolution is kill or be killed. Let's go on there. No, I'm saying there's nothing special about non-existence, but once you realize there's this realm of existence, isn't that not so? I mean, depends what you mean by special. If you mean like special isn't a good thing, then I feel like that's a lot to be granted. If you mean special isn't like it has value, isn't like there's something there to it other than just nothingness, then yeah, I agree. And it's negative value. There's pain, and pain is quite visceral and bad. So I would agree that there is something special about the universe, and there's something special about existence. It's quite fucked up. And that's not a good thing. It's like having a special surprise when the special surprise is like a pile of shit or like a knife in the gut. No, I mean something out of the ordinary. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know what they mean. Like, to me, ordinary just ordinary is what it is. Here's ordinary. Ordinary is a physical thing. So, like, for something to be out of the ordinary would mean like to be out of reality or out of ordinary in context of a specific location. So in the context of the universe, I mean, so I'm saying that there's no God, but might be weird. There's all of this existence. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess that I don't know. I mean, it's weird and it's not weird at the same time to me. I mean, fuck, my remote control just disconnected. To me, it's like, oh my god, I may as well just move my fucking retarded ass knees over here. Hey, what I'm saying is there's no god. I don't know, man. To me, it just seems possibly weird. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is like the whole argument called the contingency argument, which is why I kind of believe that God must have committed suicide, and that's by reason there's universe, is because I believe there has to be something that's contingent on another thing, and so basically it leads down to like what created the universe, aka what was the cause, and that's a singularity event, which you can call God, basically. So when it comes down to it, I mean, I think God's more of like a singularity. It's not like a conscious thing per se. It could be considered conscious to an extent or another, but it basically is no longer conscious. It's dead. But its unconscious will would be alive still from when it was before it annihilated itself. So who knows? But like when it comes down to it, I don't really believe that there's mainlanders philosophy. Yeah, basically mainlanders philosophy. So I believe in mainlanders philosophy. My boy Bots mainlander Philippe. So, but yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I mean, it's hard to comprehend because I here's the thing. We know life appeared through random chaotic forces. So why can't the universe also appear through random chaotic forces? Why can't it just be a random chaotic force that like a random some reaction that just occurred out of nowhere that made the universe occur? It wouldn't be something given with God, and it also wouldn't answer why this realm of existence exists and why God exists. I mean, I think no matter what, it'll have to come down to just random forces makes the existence the reason existence exists, but like of any sort, like God or otherwise. But yeah, I mean, I just even when it comes down to it, God is supposed to be God because God like transcends logic. God like transcends like the human mind and comprehension. And I just kind of hope that there's something like a God that'd be a first mover or first creator. That way, if that thing is dead, that means this is the one and final universe. Because if it is random forces that creates the universe, and that means that basically means that random force can happen again, which means that this life you have right now, a Prophet, is gonna happen again. What would a vegan hunt? I don't know what you mean by that. Nothing plans. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what you mean, Dennis. I mean, I think vegans should hunt. Vegans should decide to no longer be vegan and they should be scrapitarian instead, meaning they should just be like, hey, I should be vegan in terms of what I buy from the supermarket, but they should hunt elk, deer, rabbit, squirrel, pheasants, whatever else is allowed to be hunted. Uh, little lizards. I don't fucking know. Your description says, should vegans consider hunting? So wonder what a vegan on a vegan diet would hunt. Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad. I forgot about that. It's been an hour and 57 minutes. So you're saying that they should stop being vegans? Kind of. Yes and no. I'm saying they should continue being vegans in terms of how they buy things from the supermarket. So like 90% of their diet would still be vegan. 80% of their diet, whatever you want to consider, it depends on how much they go hunting and fishing and stuff, would be vegan. But in terms of where they get the protein sources from, and it would be like a lot of it would be subsidized through hunting and fishing. And I think that's the most ethical thing to do because animals, no matter what, are going to die brutal deaths in the wild via parasites or predators or whatever. I get you. So as a whole, you wouldn't be vegan, but their bought products would be vegan. Yes, exactly. So like I believe that like no matter what, like animals are gonna die horrible deaths in the wild, and I'd much rather get shot than being torn apart by something while alive. So given that, and given that like life's inherently negative, I mean, yeah, and then there's also that which this guy says, you should kill our own food, which I don't really think matters, but plus slaughterhouse food is gross and has steroids. That, I mean, is also a good point. If you don't want to have microplastics in your food or steroids, you should probably hunt also. But that's just a personal preference thing. We're talking about ethics, and so therefore it's kind of irrelevant. But it's a good point nonetheless. Um, but yeah, basically, yeah. When it comes down to it, I think animals are going to die no matter what, horrible ways. From their perspective, it doesn't matter how they die. They don't want to die. They don't want to feel, well, they don't know what death is, but they don't want to feel the pain that leads to the existential fear that they which is caused by like death related sensations. So when it comes down to it, yeah, animals are probably better off getting shot than living out their lives in constant fear, need upsetting events, and then ending up basically on something else's dinner plate anyways. So you may as well do it yourself. To be honest, pretty good style, but I would do that with more meat. I want to start hunting as well. Yeah, basically, I don't really go hunting very often. I like it all anymore. I mean, I shot a rabbit today with a blow dart gun, but that was mainly just for like the fun of it, slash for ethilism purposes of like cleansing life. But when it comes down to it, hunting is good. I go fishing more than often than not because fishing is good source of protein. It's a good source of protein, I guess. And their nervous systems aren't as advanced as other mammals, and there's plenty of them, and tasty. So yeah, I go hunting and sometimes, but I don't really eat the food very often. And then I go fishing, and fishing I eat everything. So and I have a cat, and my cat goes hunting. It eats rabbits and random things. So fishing was my biggest catch. Like, I don't know, maybe like a 14.5 inch bass or something like that. It wasn't that big. Like 15, I don't know. It was not that big, but I've caught fish, just not big fish. Do you think humans have a right to? Geez, that's still fairly big for one person to eat. Yeah, I mean, I can eat a lot of food, and people don't have rights at all. But when it comes down to it, do humans have the right to cause pain for pleasure or arbitrary release of stress? No, they don't. I mean, if you could guarantee that like you're preventing more suffering than you're causing, then sure. But when it comes down to, you can't guarantee the animal's gonna enjoy anything in the process, and you can guarantee that there's gonna be some taboo about it that, if found out by society, would be like quite disgusting and cause a lot of mental, psychological upsetness. So when it comes down to it, I think bestiality is not kosher, not cool. Hypothetical analogy I've heard before is like, what if you trank darted an animal and then did sexual misdeeds to it? That is messed up, Dennis. But we like to talk about hypothetical analogies on this channel, and given that he's a vegan, he's trying to challenge my utilitarianism, because my utilitarianism basically says that animals are going to die no matter what. So therefore, we should be allowed to cause them some level of suffering for our own means to our ends. But I'm not really necessarily saying that. I'm saying more or less like we're allowed to cause suffering to them to prevent greater suffering, because no matter what, we're going to replace these calories. So, but I think that's what he thinks is what I'm saying. So when it comes down to it, no, I mean, no, when it comes down to it though, like, yeah, like if there are analogies in which you could technically do bestiality and it would be considered ethical, it would be considered also taboo and disgusting, and I would be like, ew, I'm not going to be friends with someone like that. In fact, I'd probably just like, if I saw them, and I'd cap them in the head, man. But talking about necessary suffering, not about out of necessity, right? You're talking about necessary suffering, not about necessity, right? Yeah, I'm talking about necessary suffering, not about like necessity, because I don't believe it'd be ever necessary to like do certain. Well, I think the only thing that's ever necessary is prevention of suffering. That's basically what I think. So when it comes down to it, though, there are weird analogies like shrink darting an animal, then doing the sexual violation of its like or whatever. And those analogies, as a utilitarian, I cannot really say anything. I'd be like, yeah, it's really weird. I wouldn't be friends with that person. In fact, I'd push that person. I would hope that person would be the fat man, the hypothetical trolley gene analogy. That way I can shove the fucking animal fucker off the bridge and make me happy. But, when it comes down to it, no, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with anything besides pain. The only thing that has inherent wrongness is suffering and pain and discomfort. Everything else is just, do you care about how the meat is eaten ethical wise? I eat a lot of meats raw, for example. No, I don't care about that. The animal doesn't care about that. All that matters is suffering, Dennis. Um, so all that matters is suffering, basically. So when it comes down to it, once the animal is dead, it doesn't care about how it's being eaten. And you shouldn't care as long as it's not going to cause you harm or someone else harm. So, and Get Lost Vampire asks the Prophet if he lives in Israel. And if he lives in Israel, then I'm like, you, Israel. I'm just kidding. Because I see a lot of people hating on how others eat meat. Oh, that's because of religious reasons, pretty much. Muslims, and maybe I'm not sure about Jews, but Muslims for sure have a lot of absolutely retarded fucking bullshit about like how you should eat meat. They're like, it's an unclean pork, blah blah blah, the unclean animal. Yeah, like, basically, they think according to Allah, it's an unclean animal. So, basically, according to them, you can rape women because women are lesser things. You can fuck animals in the asshole. So I'm just kidding. You're not allowed to do that because they're unclean. But if God were to just find that animal is clean, you could just ravage that. Maybe goats are clean in Muslim. I don't fucking know, but hey man, I'm just being a racist piece of shit at this point. But when it comes down to it, no. Reason I really hate Islam. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna lie here. I really hate Islam. The religion of Islam can go fuck itself. Anybody here who's Islamic? Yeesh. Sorry. You don't clean. You don't eat. I'm Muslim. You don't unclean pork. You don't eat it because they're dirty. They don't eat their own shit. They eat their own shit, and they are cannibals. I'm sorry, Dennis, but I'm gonna have to say, your religion is really silly. It believes you do realize the digestive system and like your flesh and all that stuff are like kind of different than like like that. Well, you can in the Bible. I know that, and I mean, I'm pretty sure in Islam you can definitely get away with raping women. You just have to like make them like get married to you or some bullshit afterwards. The Quran is a child's version of the Bible, basically. I mean, people don't think that you can. The Bible is Christianity. Well, the Quran is based off of Christian. The Quran's based off of the Judeo-Christian religions. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if. Let me look it up. Quran on rape. Fair enough. You don't need to be bothered to explain it to me because when it comes down to it, your religion throws gay people off roofs and shit like that. So when it comes, I mean, frankly, I don't really care, man. I mean, pigs in there have just the same amount of rights as anybody else, and you shouldn't not eat pigs just because they're dirty, and you shouldn't be able to eat cows and stuff like that because they're clean. Plus, pigs are actually not that dirty of animals, nor are they necessarily cannibals any more than other mammals are naturally cannibals. People are cannibals also, my dude. But when it comes down to it, yeah, pigs aren't naturally cannibals. We just keep them in horrible fucking conditions that make them cannibalistic sometimes. So anything is gonna want to survive, homie. Let me look. All I need to do is go type in Quran and rape, and let's see. Rape in Islam, punishment for rape in Islam, Quran, rape in Islam, establish your memorable. Yeah, punishment for rape in Islam is Islam's law that endorses rape. So yeah, basically you can get like 4 of them down, and then Islam's law that endorses rape. Rape is not in Islam, but worse than this. It has 2 laws that allow it. First, husbands can have sex with their wives whenever they want. Marital rape, Quran, which I already knew, hence why I'm saying marital rape is a thing. Rape in Islam is not a cultural problem, but for a period must be. Second, a divorced wife, child who has not had a period must wait 3 months before remarrying. This assumes statutory rape has occurred. So yeah, you guys have statutory rape and rape of intermarriage going on. So I mean, you don't come at me saying that. Don't come at me with this shit. I was just being generous and not coming at you with sources because I didn't feel like getting into it. But if you want me to, I get into it. We can get all up in the Quran. We can get up there and fucking fist the Quran a little bit. Yeah, just like y'all do your wives. Just kidding. It's fun because it's true. Pigs eat their own shit and their own babies. I mean, women do that too. Those standards of rape ain't defined words of rape. Statutory rape is rape, and rape of your wife against their consent, just forcing yourself upon your own wife because you're now married, is still rape. And if you say otherwise, then you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. If you say otherwise, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Anybody have any objections? Just kidding. They don't endorse a man forcing their wife. They just present an ideal situation where a man is married to a woman they want to force them. They don't condone it either, do they now, though? Do they now, do they? Yeah, what is your point now, Dennis? Like they don't endorse a man forcing if it just presents an ideal situation where a man is married to a woman they won't force themselves. Oh, there's plenty of things. Anyways, all religion is barbaric and fucked up. Christianity endorses pedophilia. Also, don't worry. It's okay. It's okay, Dennis. All religion's horrible and fucked up. It's not just your religion. In the Bible, Mary, you know, Jesus' mom, she was 12 to 14 years of age. 12 to 14 years of age. The prophet, that one of his wives, 9 years old. 9 years old. It's okay. The Quran, the Bible, they're all a bunch of pedophile endorsing scumbag, barbaric desert fuckers that just lived out there in the tribe lands, just going ooh, ooh, ooh. So you know, when it comes down to it, yeah, like no part of the Quran says you can force your wife. It doesn't assume one would do that because it talks really about how you should respect each other. So raping one is, oh my god, you do realize all these books are fucking the most hypocritical thing ever, Denez. Like one page it'll be like respect the Father and respect the Son and respect the Holy Spirit, and the next page it'll say something like respect your father is in your father and your earthly father above all things. So no, that's what non-believing atheist scum say. Oh, okay, says you. There we go. Bob, goodbye. Toodaloo. See, we don't endorse Islam. Islam can go fuck itself. They throw gay people off of roofs because the gays are unclean. They take it in the butt, and therefore we kill them. Cause Islam. Fuck Islam. Don't insult Islam. Hey, I will insult Islam as much as I want, and if you want to defend Islam, you get the panhammer. Just kidding. But I'm not kidding. We don't support religious extremism on this channel. Religion extremists can go to hell. The only philosopher that tries to define reality was Hegel, and his views have been developed. I'll be back.